These 16 members of Congress just met with the ICIG to have a classified discussion about UFOs and some of the claims that UFO whistleblower David Grush has recently made. And we're going to go over the comments they made after they left the SCIF and see if we can connect any dots. Several of the representatives made very vague statements after they left the meeting, but if we start to look at their individual comments as a whole, there are a few patterns that begin to emerge that help us paint a clear picture of what they possibly discussed in the meeting. But one thing that is crystal clear is that our elected officials have not been given a complete overview of what the U.S. government knows about the UFO topic. And instead of being told the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, according to Representatives Luna and Ogles.
I just think what most of the American people fear is true, is that the government, there's a concerted effort to conceal as much information as possible, both from Congress and to the general public. So
it has become apparent that there is a movement, whether it's within the intelligence community or not, to prevent us from finding out more information on this.
And although this is a bipartisan effort, it is possible that some of the members of Congress that attended this meeting could be complicit in the stonewalling of this very movement. And I think it's worth pointing out that Representative Mike Turner, who attended this briefing and also was the spearhead for the effort to gut the UAP Disclosure Act of 2023, left the meeting and didn't make any comments to the press. But let's go ahead and dig into the comments that were made by members of Congress that seem to indicate that the conversation is coming into focus.
It's giving me a more clear perspective, a little bit more of a clear perspective. Before it's very blurry. Everything is extremely blurry. But I'm getting a little bit more clarity.
This is the first real briefing that we've had that we've now made, I would say, progress on some of the claims Mr. Grush has made in his complaint and some of the claims he provided to Congress.
We didn't learn anything new. It just verified what I thought.
The next question is obviously going to be, what exactly is the root cause of this lack of clarity that the representatives are encountering?
You know, you put these guys and gals in a tough position. It's very compartmentalized.
Folks, this is an interdepartmental effort as it relates to the agencies involved in oversight and in the UAP conversation. And so it's obviously not just the Defense Department, I think, which is at the center of this, but also our intelligence agencies.
There is an overclassification and that we are continually being stonewalled.
But by design, this issue is very compartmentalized.
The bureaucratic silos and stovepipes that the representatives are currently facing were one of the main reasons Lou Elizondo gave for resigning from the Pentagon in 2017 in order to raise awareness on the UAP issue. And from the comments the congressman made, it sounds like this compartmentalization prevented them from getting clarity on any of the more shocking claims that Grush made, including,
but we do have retrieved non-human material and craft that we have in our possession.
Do we have alien bodies?
We do.
Instead of getting details about those specific claims, according to Representative Raja,
unfortunately, I don't think that we're looking at the substance of his claims, and instead we're kind of dancing around kind of the procedural nature of his claims.
So you're probably asking yourself, what did they learn in the SCIF? To me, it sounds like they definitely know where to focus their efforts next.
But it does give us a direction to go next, and that's the key thing.
But it's got me focused on who we need to be bringing into the hearing.
Oh, I think this one's going to lead to a lot of things. I mean, there's a lot of new questions and a lot of new areas to ask and poke in based on what we got in this meeting.
And it's possible the areas that they're looking to poke around in were actually hinted at during the July congressional hearings.
is there any indication that the Department of Energy is involved in UAP data collection and housing?
I don't have an answer.
I can't confirm or deny that in a public setting.
And could you do it in a secure setting?
Yes.
Can you give me the names and titles of the people with direct firsthand knowledge and access to some of these crash retrieval programs, and maybe which facilities, military bases the recovered material would be in?
I can't discuss that publicly, but I did provide that information both to the Intel committees and the Inspector General.
And we could get that in the SCIF if we were allowed to get in a SCIF with you. Would that be probably what you would think?
Sure, if you had the appropriate accesses, yeah. You're referring to actual public treaty in the UN Register. It's funny you mentioned that. Yeah, the Agreement on Measures to Reduce the Risk of Outbreak of Nuclear War, signed in 1971. Unclassified treaty, publicly available. And if you cite the George Washington University National Security Archives, you will find the declassified in 2013 specific provisions in the specific red line flash message traffic with the specific codes pursuant to Article 3 and Article, also Situation 2, which is in the previously classified NSA archive. What I would recommend, and I tried to get access, but I got a wall of silence at the White House, was those specific incidents when those message traffic was used. I think some scholarship on that would open the door to a further investigation using those publicly available information.
What Grush is referring to is this 1971 agreement between the U.S. and the USSR. In Article 3 of this document, the superpowers agreed to immediately notify each other if either of them detected any unidentified objects with their missile warning systems. This, of course, was an effort to avoid triggering any accidental nuclear exchanges. Next, Representative Luna indicated that there's a very human and very dark aspect to the UFO cover-up.
One thing in particular that really caused me to be concerned about this whole thing is that Grush had stated to myself, Representative Burchett, and another member on the phone that there were people that were hurt hiding this information and keeping this information safe and or trying to come forward with this information. What I can tell you is I believe that claim after now leaving.
Luna was also asked about David Grush's claims pertaining to non-human biologics, and her response was interesting to say the least.
I think it's incredibly important to listen to the specific words that Grush uses. You know, Grush never said extraterrestrial or alien, he said interdimensional. I think that that's incredibly important because those are the types of things that when we go in there, there's just certain things that I think that it's important that you guys listen to on that.
And while Grush did mention interdimensionals during the congressional hearing, here's his actual response to Representative Luna when she asked him about the origins of the non-human biologics.
Mr. Grush, why is it that you refer to the phenomenon as non-human intelligence? Why deviate from the basis of extraterrestrial life?
I think the phenomenon is very complex, and I like to leave an open mind analytically to specific origin.
When you say specific origin, are you referring, can you elaborate on that for those that might not?
If it's a traditional extraterrestrial origin or something else that we don't quite understand from either a biological or astrophysics perspective, I just like to keep an open mind on what it could be,
So is it possible that Luna confused her exchange with Grush during the congressional hearings with one that she had afterwards? Or did she just forget the details of his response? I'm going to leave that up to you guys to decide what you think, but I want to leave you with these two big takeaways. Number one is, of course, that it sounds like more hearings are on the way.
Well, I mean, as the ranking member of the subcommittee that oversees, obviously, this topic, I would like to have more hearings. And so I think we've made that request already of the committee, and I think that the hearing requires more investigation.
And two, no one that commented after leaving the briefing indicated that Grush had lost any credibility. In fact, it seems that a lot of his claims had been validated.
I think everybody left there thinking and knowing that Grush is legit.
I believe that he's telling the truth. I think that he is a credible witness.
So now our job is to keep the pressure on, and that includes the media.
Let's keep the pressure on. We might get there. I don't know that we will or not, but let's keep the pressure on.
This is a serious topic, and it deserves serious attention. And I actually encourage also members of the media to continue covering this topic. I think that's really important. It is not a fringe topic. It is a serious national security topic.
And shout out to Jordan Clifford for posting all of these interviews on Twitter.